You to stand and make a pledge of allegiance, and then a short minute of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome tonight, August 9th, 23, Police and Fire Board agenda. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda? And are there any changes, any corrections that we need to make before we get started? If not, I'll accept a motion.
So move.
Second.
Okay. Public comment,
You gotta vote.
I think, pardon
You
me,
gotta vote.
okay?
Motion you have to vote on.
Okay, but informal vote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just, all in favor say aye.
Yeah. All in favor of approval of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved. Public comment, I think we're lacking in our public. Okay, again, let's look at the minutes from the last time and see if everything that was discussed that you can remember, any changes, additions. If not, I'll accept a motion as well.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Old business, none. New business action item for discussion, police department update and discussion. Well, we can do that. Do we have any items for introduction other than the report? You know, Mr. Secretary?
There is no new business.
Okay, we have none. Therefore, if you could go through this report a little bit, just kind of give us your slant, so to speak, on it.
Sure. First, I'd like to say that the calls for service from January to August, from 2022 to 2023. In 2022, from January to August, we had 9,685 calls. And in 2023, they have increased to 9,850 calls. Just to review, statistically in the annual report, our index crimes are gonna be our most serious offenses. They're the ones that are required to be reported to the federal government. And if you look in that report, the index crimes, you can see that they include serious ones like the murder, manslaughter, criminal sexual conduct, and so on. And these stats are from 2022. So I compared them just a little bit from the year before, and for our index crimes, the total number.
Wait, so this would have been 2021 now.
Yeah, because the annual report is for 2022. It's the report on
2021
2022.
total?
I don't. Did I write that down?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I did have it. I thought it was 100 and, I got it here. Excuse me. So 104 in 2021, total index crimes. Those are again, the reports that we have to report to the federal government in the serious
And
ones.
the reporting guidelines were the same. There weren't any changes on how certain crimes were classified or anything that can affect that total.
I don't believe so. That's a good question, though. The total for the 2022 index crimes increased to 128. And just to highlight kind of the ones that I felt increased the most or had the most impact would be our larcenies increased from 55 to 68. Our aggravated assaults increased from 8 to 17,
Wait a minute, okay, from what?
from 8 to 17.
Wow, double.
One good thing in this I did see is that our criminal sexual conduct decreased from 15 in 21 to 10 in 22. Those are kind of crimes that you really, there's not really much as far as proactive policing that can help those. They come as they come.
Okay.
And then if we move on to our other crimes and offenses, the non-index crimes, there's quite a few. If you turn the page, I think it's 4. I don't have a total number for all of those, but, just to hit the highlights, the non-index are non-aggravated assaults, and for our reporting purposes, these are probably gonna be our domestic, assaults. They classify them under as non-aggravated, and in 21, we had 39, and in 2022, we had 53. Our fraud reports seem to be increasing as well. They increased by 10 from 44 to 54. Our obstructing police officers increased as well. And, yes, sir.
Where is that?
So,
Public peace disorderly? Oh.
if you look, other offenses,
Part 3.
Oh, part 3 you're in now?
yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
They increased in 21, was 10, and it increased by 10 to 20 in 2022, so it went from 10 to 20. So we doubled in people resisting the police as far as that goes. And then just the other offenses, another one I noticed was our warrant arrest increased from 39 to 63.
39 to 63?
Correct. And I'll just say, some of this may be a little bit because we're coming out of the 2020 COVID years, and,
You can serve them, or you're catching them now, and kind of things?
well, I'll tell you, Brian, we were still catching them. It's just, we couldn't put them anywhere, because nobody wanted them in their jails.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of advise and release on warrants, and we still are. There's still some counties and cities that don't want their criminals arrested. Other incidents I can point to is our traffic accident. There was no change. They stayed exactly the same at 257 in traffic accidents. Our traffic contacts, that would include,
Where's traffic?
so it's gonna be part 5
Okay,
or
you go from 3 to
6.
4. Or
Sorry.
you go 3 to 5.
Sorry, I just kinda like started typing all this stuff out,
Okay.
trying to make sense. I wasn't trying to go through it line for line, just try to hit the highlights on it, so.
Yeah, I get it, but you got part 3,
Yes, sir.
and then you go to part 5.
Oh,
There's
I
no
see
part
there.
4. Well, 4 is underneath the 5, so that's just a
That's
typo.
right. Yeah, that's a typo there. So the annual traffic enforcement,
There you go, that's where I was having trouble.
yeah,
Finding it.
so that's the warnings and
the
citations
same.
total. No, they increased from 21 to 22, so we had in 21, 659. And then last year, it increased to 993.
You just get more hard ass?
So that's not just citations, our citations only increased by 10. And, we're really not, as Mr. Mr. would say, as hard asses. I say we're pretty lenient, cause
No,
we
I
gave
know, yeah, I know.
813 warnings and only 180 citations.
I know, you guys are good with that.
Yeah. So we try to,
Better
we try to,
That southern township,
yeah, sometimes, like,
Vernon doesn't give you a break for anything.
No, and some of their policies require them to issue citations, like on a traffic accident, they're required to
Yeah.
issue
Like
whoever's at
speeding
fault.
warnings, they tend to nail you. They like the money. Anyways, personal opinion.
So that's the highlights that I seen from the annual reports. As far as the, I guess it would be page 6, the department training. I mean, we sent, every year we send guys to as much training as we can. I think just looking through these, you know, we have our in-house defensive tactics training and firearms proficiency training. And, just yesterday, we completed our second firearms training day. As far as the courses, crisis intervention seems to be one that, all our officers are needing more and more. And that would be, responding to mental health situations. The mental health calls in our area seems to be on the increase as well. I don't have the exact statistics for that. But we are definitely, you know, I'd have to really look at the numbers. Just listening to the radio, it seems like Bath Township gets the majority of mental health calls. And I don't know if that has to do with maybe a different demographic than, you know, the other parts of the county, you know, with our student housing, or, you know, some of the Section 8 lower income, but it's only a guess, because we get these type of calls in everywhere, every neighborhood.
Well, you figure, it's like I've heard thousands of times that crimes usually are performed by people that live in the area or are familiar with the area that they live in. And it could very well be that because of the people that, and I'm talking about college students and whatnot, younger generation people, they would have, feel more at home to commit crime close to them rather than away. And they'd understand the logistics of things and know where things are and know where they can go and where they can't go and where they can, that type of thing. I understand what you're saying.
Another training, point to note is our active violent incident training, or AVI. That would be our active shooter training for, like school violence. We had 2 officers recently trained in there. We've been working with the schools, the Bath schools, to get, their teachers some training, and that's gonna happen this month. So, countywide, they came up with a program based off of, an FBI program, and they trained several officers in the county, and all these officers are gonna be tasked with going to the schools to conduct this type of training, which I think is sorely needed, especially in this time. Is there any questions on the, report? Quite
Well,
lengthy.
I have a question on the minutes. You were having trouble with the cars running when that was hot?
Yes.
Did they ever get that straightened out? Do they have any idea what's happened?
We, sort of. I wish I could tell you yes, because I'm tasked with trying to get those cars back in service. We have one right now that's a mystery. When it was not hot, it just stalled out on an officer, and I have that at the dealership, getting looked at. It was looked at previously as well. They told me they had it running for 30 straight hours with no issues, and they have no codes that are throwing off of what's causing this problem. And, but I got officers that are not taking the car because they don't trust it. And, you know, like, I totally get it. So I'm like, get this thing fixed. So it's in the shop. Hopefully they figured it out. What I understand from the other cars is that there was a fuse relay, crank fuse relay, that, was burning up. And, they replaced those, and it seemed to fix the problem so far.
Okay.
But I was working the day when every car we had stopped working. And that was quite the ordeal. And I was trying to figure out how we're gonna you know,
Is
respond to
any other
calls. and
departments having that same problem?
None that I am aware of,
Just ours?
just us. Initially, we thought it was maybe a fuel-related issue, and we had, Isler Oil come out, right?
Yeah.
And they checked the tank for, you know, any impurities, they didn't find any, and they even pumped out what they had and put new stuff in there just to make sure, but we don't think it was that. It's probably this, crank relay issue.
I'll be done. I'll be done.
Is there any other questions I can answer on the annual report?
On the homicide murder, it's going to trial, is any update on that?
There is no update, the trial was scheduled, I believe, for 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, or this week. And Detective, or now Sergeant Miller, he's preparing for that trial, but my understanding is that the defense is looking to postpone that, for some legal reasons.
Difficult.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, right, so, that's a big deal, and, I think we're all closely watching that and hoping for a resolution for the family.
Are these criminal sexual conducts, this is both minors and adults, right?
Yeah, correct, it is.
On the ones with
Unfortunate.
minors, is it mostly like family type stuff, or is it stuff that's happening like in parks or outside of the home type thing?
Yeah, so if I'm understanding, you're asking me are the perpetrators of these crimes, are they family members
Friends
or are
and
they
families.
strangers?
Right,
Mostly they're gonna be either family members or
Right.
somebody that's acquainted with the family. I have yet to see,
stranger danger.
somebody offering candy from a van. I haven't seen.
Like what happened to me when I was 7.
Somebody had candy in their van?
Yeah. We just had candy, it was a nice time. Anyways, I shouldn't be laughing, that's terrible.
That is terrible.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
I heard, Facebook social page, that there's been more, thefts from vehicles in DeWitt and Bath.
Recently?
Yeah, in the last week.
Yeah, there has been, and, I think we were probably, well, this is not new to southern, county, Ingham County, Lansing, East Lansing area.
Yeah.
But it has migrated up this way, and just last week, I was working alone for a couple hours in the morning, and my first call was, hey, you have 2 stolen vehicle complaints holding. And that turned into several larcenies from automobiles. So fortunately, we were able to get some security footage from some neighboring homes when we did a canvas, and, they also used some, stolen credit cards from one of the larcenies at a nearby gas station, and we were able to identify some of the perpetrators, which seems to be they're all juveniles.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard they were mostly not smashing in, they were just looking for unlocked cars.
That's exactly what they're doing, and if I can implore, you to maybe urge the public that it's important to lock your belongings up and not be an easy target.
Yeah,
It's an easy thing to do nowadays.
it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of that, on that note, did anyone and everyone hear that the automobile called Kia is a target for theft because they're so easily stolen?
Yeah, is it the Kia or was it something else?
It was a
It
Kia.
Kia? I thought it
Yeah.
was.
It had a picture of it, I told you.
Yeah, my understanding is this the one where they just take any old thumb drive and plug, rip dash back and plug it in there and it starts? Yeah.
Yeah.
They got an update supposedly.
Can be
Take your
convenient, but
vehicle in,
Yeah.
update the
it's a double-edged
computer,
sword.
so it won't do that.
I certainly hope so.
If we could get a Lamborghini to do that.
Should have been putting on to Republic already.
That's right. I have some other news. I have some other news to share.
All right.
Our new patrol vehicle, 754, is in service and is running great. The 2023 models, or is that a 22? I can't
That's
remember.
23.
20 is, I mean, they are totally redesigned and they're really fantastic vehicles so far, so
Are those
we're really
Tahoe-
excited.
Tahoes?
Correct.
Yep.
We did have it back into,
Midnight.
yeah, the shop for a couple minor things that we wanted done, but nothing big, some armrests and, you know, a pocket to put some things, but everything seems to be working really well with it. Promotions, there's been quite a turnover, in the command structure and the
Go
structure
slow.
of our department recently.
Go
You know,
slow.
go slow?
Yeah, well,
Yes, sir.
let me get on the page that has the, okay. So are they included in here now? On your thing?
For the
The promotion?
22. No, it looks like we don't have that updated here. This would be last year's
Okay, let's go.
stat. Well, obviously Chief Smith was promoted from lieutenant, and then, I was promoted from sergeant to lieutenant. And, that left a vacancy at sergeant,
Hang on,
as you
hang
can
on,
see what's
hang on.
going on.
Hang on. Who?
Sergeant, or Detective Miller was promoted to sergeant.
Right, but then you, Seidelberg? Who did you say after that? The next sergeant.
No, I was promoted from sergeant to lieutenant.
Right.
And then
Matt, or,
Miller,
You
detective,
said you can see what's going on here where you gotta have, everything has to kinda move up a little bit.
right, and so Miller went to sergeant.
correct.
Okay, that's what I missed.
And, because that left a vacancy in detective, Officer Sherman was promoted to detective. And then finally, Christie, due to her, or to, due to the approval of a new administrative assistant position, she was promoted to office manager.
And did you get the assistant?
We are on, the search is on, August 16th, so next week. We have 5 candidates that we are going to be interviewing,
Oh, wow.
in-person interviews. And this is whittled down from, guess how many applications we got for this position?
Heard there was 100.
Yeah,
100.
it was over 100.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you know how many we're getting for police officers?
0.
Pretty much. Pretty much, it's pretty low. We get a few coming in here or there, but it's not like it was.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
You said, now it's Sergeant Sherman?
No, Officer Sherman was promoted to detective. He's
Detective.
still an officer.
Okay, I don't see his name here.
So he was hired, well,
Ah, okay.
no, 22, he should have been here.
Am I missing it?
No, he is not on here.
All right.
Him and I'm Lyle.
Neither, yeah, Lyle's on here, we'll just kick him off. So, yeah, and due to the, administrative position being created, we had to, revamp part of that office space up front. And, the workstations are in up front. We have a bullet-resistant wall and glass gonna be installed up front to protect those folks as well. And I am pleased to announce that all of that material and installation is being donated by Total Security Solutions. Total cost of the donation is $43,500.
Wow.
Total Security Solutions.
Correct.
And it was, what'd you say, 40,000, what?
43,500. So, first we need to get, our new countertops, installed, and then the bullet resistant glass and everything will be installed, and we should be good to go.
Are you gonna give them like a bumper sticker on the window saying bulletproof glass and wall provided by?
I'm not sure what the plan is for that. I really don't. You know, like
It's a good idea.
like a NASCAR, and then
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
we should
what
start
might-
doing it on our cars
mean-
too.
Let's say you get some guy that wants to come in and shoot up the place, and he walks up there and looks and he goes, ah,
Yeah,
and then he walks back out, you know?
Well, my plan is maybe we create like a trap door compartment, you know, where if they do come
Oh,
in,
it
just lock the
fall-
door.
fall.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like that idea
yeah,
too,
fall
but,
through.
no, I was just thinking about locking them in there, then they couldn't escape.
I like that one, Doug.
You do,
It's easier to,
I'm sure you do.
I really like that one.
mean the fall through one or the trap 'em in there?
Don't know, just lock them in so they can't get out. And next morning, it's like the old saying, oh, maybe I shouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
Maybe not.
All right, next.
Anyway,
Finally getting some relief in our staffing, and the officer that we hired a couple months ago, his first day starting is today, and that is Officer Samuel Selick. So his head's spinning, trying to get caught up. He's a young guy, really smart, from the Charlotte area, and his police experience is at Lansing Community College, which is, I think he's got less than a year of experience there. So we're really happy to have him on board.
excellent.
Also, as far as staffing goes, in that interview panel, we identified another candidate, Jonathan Wright, and he was given a conditional offer of employment, but he has to go through a police academy. So part of that conditional offer is that he's gonna have to pass all the requirements that the state requires for him to get into the police academy.
How long does that take?
Well, the academy starts, January of '24, so he needs to do I'm sorry, how long does it take for him to pass those?
To get through that class,
Academy.
Oh.
the academy?
So the academy is, I think they're up to 18 weeks long, so he's, what is that, almost 4 months?
4.5.
So he's not gonna be ready to go on the road until he graduates the academy in May, probably May-ish. And then he has to go through an extensive field training officer
And he is
program.
tied in, so he will work for us? He won't go
Yes.
some other place?
Part of the condition is that he signs an agreement that he won't do that.
Okay.
For a certain period of time.
Correct. Correct. And he'll be the first officer that we've sponsored through in a police academy at Bath Township, so it's a big step for us. We understand the risk, but with the job environment, the employment environment for police officers nowadays, you gotta kinda grab the qualified candidates, and then he's, in my opinion, he's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, and you've got control of who you can pick to go through that, so you've got more control there.
Right.
But you still need one more.
Yes, yeah,
That
we
would
still
be-
need one more, would be
after him.
ideal. We would have, 2 officers assigned to, a day shift and a night shift, so we'd have, and then we'd have a sergeant that would cover overlap. So in a perfect world, we would have between the hours of, 2 PM and 2 AM, we'd have 3 officers on duty. And that's not happening right now. We're still having, some staffing issues. Officer Trent Bailey has stepped down from his full-time position. He's staying on part-time to kinda help out with some shifts, which is really actually helping us out, but he decided to, work for himself. And, he stepped away from the position, and we still have the, unfulfilled position, the officer position as well. And then Officer Selick, and he's starting today, he's got, probably at least a couple months of field training before he's ready to get out on his own. So, and we also have an officer who is, on sick leave for undetermined amount of time. So that's kinda putting, a crunch on us all as well. And we're running minimum staffing right now, which is one officer. And that's the majority of our shifts is you're getting at least one day shift officer, one night shift officer, and, if a sergeant's working, we're getting that overlap on 2 to 2.
Jeez.
So, yeah, and it's, we're trying to monitor, obviously, we're recovering shifts for training and scheduled time off. I mean, people need time off. But our overtime is increasing because of the staffing issues. And we're monitoring our officers and watching for burnout because of the workload. It's really tough for 12 hours, taking every single call and report and follow-up that needs to be done, so. We're all working together to make it happen, make sure this community is safe as possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Monday night, I gotta commend you guys for the speed you got here. And DeWitt was here and the county, which I was surprised.
Monday night?
Monday night.
Oh, boy. That's a real waste of money. I'm not helping much.
Well, that's the good thing about our area is that we work really well.
Yes.
You kinda have to, based on the nature of where our county is set up, work really well with the neighboring jurisdictions, and, when you ask for help, you get it. Sometimes it's not as fast as it was Monday night, but,
But I was surprised to see all three of you here at one time, Premier. It was impressive.
thank you.
And unneeded.
Okay.
And, that's all I have to present.
Well,
Thank you very
I,
much.
for one, would like to commend you on the report. I know you spent a lot of time on it. This is not something you just put in Word and pull it back up next year and go, oh, just add the numbers.
Well, thank you. You can thank, Chief Smith, because he's the one that prepares the annual report. So,
Wonderful.
but he likes to delegate it being presented, apparently.
That's what you got.
Well, next year it'll be you.
Well, you think?
Yeah.
Well, you'll see.
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions, concerns, or whatnot for this report?
Do you have some more of these for the board?
Some annual reports?
Yeah,
Township board.
township board.
Oh, okay. I have, what Christie was giving me, it looks like I probably do have enough, 6 of them. Is that enough?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
you got
one,
one
so,
Okay.
yeah. that'll-
Well, I'll just,
You can pass them down, or you can do it after the show.
yeah, I'll just leave them here then. We'll get them later.
If no one has any additions or further questions, I'll accept a motion to accept the, we'll call it the police department update and the, yearly, well, we didn't get the numbers though, did we? We gotta get the numbers for,
This is just the police.
I understand that.
You're just saying that, do we have to accept this? We don't have to vote on this.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay,
It was just,
Just hand it out, it's
Hand it out to
information.
us.
FYI, maybe.
FYI. Very good. Okay, Dave, can you help us out any?
Sure. Numbers for 2003, January through today,
Wait a minute, 2023,
yes, this year,
from January to now.
correct,
All right,
818
818 total,
total,
okay?
657 rescue, 161 fire.
wow,
Last year, same time, ready?
Yep.
803, of which 668 were rescue and 135 fire. So,
Not a
really
lot.
hanging about the exact same, they're real close.
Yeah.
A little bit back and forth with the fire call for service, that kind of thing. We finished up our fire school, the Clinton County Fire School, that was held at Bath Township. We had 2 personnel in it, they both passed.
Awesome.
And I think a majority of the class, I can't give you the exact number, but the majority of the class passed, which is also good, because that's all monitored by the state. Things like that, the state fire marshal's office makes sure that you're not running a class for half of them are failing the final. We're going to be starting an MFR class in the fall here, September, I think. We're starting like next month, I believe, for the MFR class, and we'll be hosting it at our station also for the area. We'll have at least two, maybe 3 or 4 people from our department in it and surrounding departments, and there was some discussion, maybe some officers, they may be interested too.
And what was the class?
Medical first responder, I'm sorry, MFR. Which is the level of licensure that our department is for medical licensure.
Which is like a step above first aid,
Right.
CPR, and a step below paramedic, sort of, right?
Right, well, there's 4 levels in Michigan. There's a MFR, licensure, an EMT basic, an EMT specialist, and a paramedic are the 4.
Okay. So,
It just gets more and more complicated, and you can,
the drugs.
we have several people that are already certified as EMTs, which is a step above the MFR, more schooling, but this is the basic, this
That's
is
the
where,
basic one, okay.
this is where we're at, that, you know, our department.
Get all your guys on that.
Right, at least there, you know, and you can move on further from there. As far as education goes, we got 2 guys that are gonna go to an arson investigation class in September for 5 days over in Grand Rapids. And so we're working on that. We have our first arriving program up and running, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen. You walk into a hotel or something like that, and you see the big monitor up on the screen that'll show you different things, the weather and the traffic, and ours is also showing us, when we have a call, it's giving us a map there, it's showing highways that, you know, or roads that are slowed down, traffic
Yeah.
locations, things like that.
Construction.
Yeah. Facebook, it's gonna enable us to give our personnel push notifications real fast.
What's it gonna be on? Their phone or?
It'll be on their phone eventually, yeah, it'll be it's not an app though, there's another name for it. Anyway. I'm trying to stay in the 21st century, but
I'm
it's
right
not
there,
easy.
I'm not too far behind you.
So it's up and running, we're still working on that pretty well. Our drone project, we've, encumbered $3,000 of our drone project that we're working on, grants and that type of thing, so it's still in the works. We're gonna be probably going to our fire association and kicking in either more, a little bit more, or the rest, I don't know which will come there yet.
What's the total?
Total is right around probably almost 6, by the time we get enough people trained to run it, and cause the licensure and things like that, to run this drone, be licensed is a class. Our engine 6.5 that was done in Wixom for a long time is fixed and back. The only thing that they didn't get fixed was the foam system. The foam system is the computer operation of the foam system that no longer exists, so it has to be replaced. That's what's bad, has to be replaced, updated, and a whole lot of other things done. And that seemed a little excessive to me, so we kinda held off on the foam, but the truck is functioning and operating everything else very well. So we finally got it back. As of the last minutes, we had another truck that was out for radiator leak. It came back pretty quick, we got that done. It was a funny little radiator for the transmission in front of the other radiator. Yeah, long story short, it didn't take us too long to get that one back. So right now, we have a complete fleet. Knock on wood. Other than that, yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I needed the help. Our 2 personnel, we have interviews that we are narrowing down by the day to lay out our 2 full-time personnel. I mean, we've got to the point where the interview committees are putting in the days that they're available so we can get this organized.
So you've decided on 2 people?
We're gonna interview 2 people
Oh.
still, yeah, we're gonna interview, I believe 4 is what we've still got hanging on. And good probability that we're in the budget process here, we're gonna ask for, which is next week, we're gonna ask for 2 more personnel and balance that out so that we can have day and night coverage. It's just coming to the point where we're running ragged, and you get the same people running ragged, and everybody's got a life, and they have sleep sometimes too, so it's getting tough. It's getting tough getting volunteers, it's getting tough to, you know, getting people that live close enough to actually help. It's a tough gig, so we're obviously need to transition on into the away from the total paid on call into a combination department.
Yeah.
Not that the volunteers are by any means are gonna be the lesser personnel, they just don't have, they got a different job. So we definitely wanna keep those guys involved, everybody involved during this whole process. Other than that, our budget stuff that we've got coming up, when we took a hard look at it, we're just kinda moving some numbers around from, well, we may not need this much in this kitty, so we'd like to move it over here. I don't foresee any major, expenditures increasing out of our budget, other than the 2 more full-time personnel. Truck situation, from what I understand, if you order a fire truck today, which we wanted to have for 2024, they're talking 29 months. So we may be looking at working a package deal, and because in 2 years after we were supposed to replace this one in 24, the other one would come up for replacement. So maybe we'll take a look at a package deal of doing both. By the time we get them, it's gonna be 2.5 years before we get them. So we're working on speccing that and getting that in the process. Cause obviously you gotta get in line somewhere.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely craziness, and I'm sure you guys have got the same thing when it comes to police cars. You gotta get your name in the hat pretty quick.
Yeah, everything's gonna go up across the board, and, if you can find something.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't got anything else that I can think of when racking my brain today of what I could tell you guys.
The sirens that we're talking at the board level,
Okay?
can there be an upgrade to the ones that we've already got in that would blast out further, or is this the best that we can?
I really don't know, Al.
Okay.
The sirens fall under the township. It's the township's responsibility, it's not really the fire department's
Yeah.
responsibility. We've got the computer down there that controls them with
Right.
the antenna up there. But it's not, so I really don't know. I know that a couple of them we picked up, if memory serves me, we picked up 2 or 3 of them used from someplace else. And so I don't know if they could be upgraded or not.
Oh, I was just wondering.
I don't believe so. I
They're talking
think
of
pretty much
2.
those sirens are, pardon?
They're talking of 2.
Right, I think that pretty much those sirens are the common thing. I don't think you can get them. It wouldn't make sense to me that you can get them any louder than what they're using. Because when we were doing a lot of testing this spring to make sure they were working, I was sitting over at the Upton Road site there. They're loud. So I mean, to make them louder, the people are gonna have to move out of Dutch Hills and the Saturdays where they trip them off
Huh.
for testing. It's just, it's pretty obnoxious.
Cause I was sitting in the back of my garage,
Yeah,
having a cup of coffee with a neighbor, and, you could hardly hear it.
yeah.
And that's just across the lake,
When was that?
Saturday.
Yeah, see, trees with leaves and everything else have so many things, there's so many factors included in it, I
Yeah.
agree. And I don't know which one you were even hearing, whether you're hearing it from coming across the lake,
Or,
or whether you're hearing it from the south end there
Yeah.
off of Coleman Road.
yeah,
They're a wonderful thing. You're gonna hear them in the summertime, which is when you need them, because you've got the windows open, and that's when the severe weather that you need the sirens for typically occurs. But they're not the answer to all. They're, like I said, they're a wonderful thing. If the kids are out playing, they can head for the house.
Wait a minute,
But I don't think we've got yeah.
kids outside playing?
Yeah, well, I know. But I don't think they're an answer to everything. I don't know what our coverage is gonna look like if we're adding 2 up into the north because of the,
You're not gonna reach everybody.
right.
Correct.
It is a step in the warning system.
Right.
There's iPhones now.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if
what I
you're
was just
familiar.
gonna ask.
There's,
Is these sirens
Radio.
outdated?
I don't
to the
know that
point.
they're, I don't know that they're outdated where they would be,
Beneficial.
penny wise to replace them all.
No, but I mean outdated as far as phones have sirens on them or
Oh,
warning on them. Is that being used more
Oh.
than these are being used?
I think that people should. I mean, I've got 2 or 3 of the apps that come from Clinton County on my
Yeah.
phone and in the weather service and everything else, and I get all kinds of stuff when it's happening. You know,
Yeah.
your phone just starts doing all kinds of crazy things, which is good. And a lot of times that, my phone will go off before the sirens go off. Or before you hear it on TV, or before, you
Yeah.
know, literally, and they usually cut in pretty good when there's severe weather, they'll cut into whatever program there is, and if you're watching, so to speak, normal
Yeah.
TV,
A
I
lot of
guess,
people don't
but
have the phone.
I think there's a lot more,
Or
Yeah.
the apps.
Yeah.
right, I
I've seen
think
this.
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's attached to their phone at the hip, and will like it or not, so to speak, that's the way the world is
Yeah.
anymore, but, I think that that's another piece that people should be paying attention to, that sign up for those type of apps to help them out, because you're not gonna cover everything with a siren,
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
If you think about, just for a minute here, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, but is not Bath Township square footage about the same as Lansing? City of-
Correct.
Reasonably close.
Yeah, about 35,000, yeah.
Well, if
35
you,
square miles.
if you think about it, none of their stations have sirens on, none of them do. It's when they see the fire truck go by, or an ambulance go by, or the warning that comes over TV6 or whatever. But the one thing you gotta remember, today's sirens, because of the volume of the stereos that are being put in your cars today,
That's true.
I don't give a damn what you put in it, you couldn't get over the sound of it. However,
Well, even the sound deadening in a car these days is so quiet inside
Correct.
the car, if you don't have anything on, you're not gonna,
we have three manufacturers that make what they call, one's called the Howler, is called the Rumbler, and I can't remember the third one. But anyway, it's a low-frequency sound that comes out of it. And it's loud enough that if you park the patrol car in front of a block wall with 2 100-watt speakers in it, and you turn it on and walk away from it for 7 days, the wall will come apart. Now, is it louder? No, but it's more distinct. The
Penetrating.
sound of it makes the difference. And you know, you hear the ones where they start low and they go, you know, that type of thing. That's more effective than a constant siren blowing. And these guys are right, you know, with the area that we have and the obstructions that we have,
Right.
it's horrible.
and when you look at other areas, I just know that with the testing that they did a lot of in Clinton County in the spring here, because they had radio issues, they set those off with a radio signal. And so they were making sure everything was right, so several Saturdays we tested them. And we have 4. You get further, I mean, I don't think that DeWitt Township has 4, you get further north and they got 1. You know,
Yeah.
I think we're doing okay, and obviously they were originally placed in areas with the higher concentration of living units. And I don't have a problem trying it up north, I'm just afraid that I don't know if we're gonna get the coverage that we think we're gonna like to expect.
Right. That's what I'm trying to,
Sure.
the whole board's trying to decide. Is there another way, or is this the best we can do?
It's probably the best we can do, other than educating people, putting on a big push to try to get them to sign up for, is it Code Red? Is that the one, or is that the one they went away from? One of the two.
I think they
It's-
went away from that one.
Okay,
It's new-
there's
new every other year.
there's an app that Clinton County
Just sign up for
transmits
it.
things on and that type of thing, so I think both, you know, if you wanna look at the sirens, that's one thing, but I think the public education of where else they can get more information, instead of relying on those sirens, would be definitely beneficial.
Well, you guys are gonna bring a report to us.
There's a few of us at the table. How did you, when you were 15 or 18 even, how did you find out there was a fire call?
They didn't have electricity then, so there were no sirens.
They had the guy out there
Oh.
crying.
We didn't have indoor plumbing, I'll say that.
At one point,
Answer that.
Jack's garage had a siren on it.
one of us had to go down and turn it on.
Yes, sir.
From the fire department.
Yes, sir.
And there was a siren over here on the station
Yes, sir.
that somebody had to turn on. It had to be, you had to get notification somehow, and then you had to manually turn on the siren. So-
Wasn't there a switch in the house that's across the street from me? At Webster, at Walnut and High Street?
Maybe.
Because the people that were in there were always talking about this switch that didn't do anything, they couldn't figure it out.
Had a
And
little
then
push
someone said,
button.
oh, that was where one of the firefighters.
I can remember Jack's garage, you used to have to go down and stick a key in a switch and turn it, which
Yep.
would cycle it, but you had to physically take a key and turn it into a switch on the outside of the building, on his back garage there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, we've come a long way.
Yeah, and I would bet you today, if you drove down to Jack's garage, the old garage, drove down in front of the house and pulled ahead just a little bit, on the northwest side of that building, if you looked up, there's still a bracket up there with a siren on. So, absolutely. Anything else for David? All righty, that is wonderful. We have no public for comment. Township board report,
The township, Marie is coming back into the offices, and they've made an office for her, and they want a camera in there. And so, and then also, we have a construction gonna start, I'm not quite sure when, Gary Lane, Ann Drive, and Timothy Lane. We're gonna mill that and blacktop it this fall yet. Our total amount is $340,104.35. And we're gonna take it out of ARPA funds, so that if not, we will take it out of the budget, but we're gonna we've had about $1,300,000 in ARPA funds, we've used some of it, but this will come out of that.
interesting. Interesting.
That's it?
That's,
Okay.
Are we good?
we're good,
Excuse me, are you good with that?
yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, very good. All right, gentlemen. Member comments. Let's start with Al tonight.
I just always am so pleased with our police and fire department and what they've done for us, and the security they give us, that I always want to thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
I as well. I remember as a kid even, back in the times when I used to absolutely love to watch fire trucks go by, or the police cars go by. Thought that was the greatest thing in the world. Little did I know that 42 years being in public safety later, and now retired, it was a wonderful experience. And to be truthfully honest with you, I'm glad it's over. I really am. You know, never let it be said that I didn't give a diligent try to it, and I did. Turned out to have a very successful business, and it turned out wonderful. And please feel free to call me anytime, any problems, bounce something off me, whatever. Absolutely.
So you're officially retired?
I retired from my job.
Okay.
I'm not retiring from the board.
No,
They're
I
gonna
didn't
have to
know.
throw me off.
No, I didn't. I meant from the daily grind.
From the daily grind. Actually, it was the first part of May I retired.
Are you loving it?
Not really. The wife is pretty near killed me. I think I wanna be back to work doing stuff again. Oh my God. I told her she's the worst boss I ever had. Yeah,
We're recording, Mike.
all right.
I
How about you, Monty? You got anything?
I can't top that.
All right.
move to adjourn.
Move.
Second?
Okay, I got, everyone signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. What I was going to say about